Ahoy, everyone!
That sounds like ahoy, like the pirates.
Yeah. Welcome back to the Generation Gap.
Yeah.
This is the only lighthearted podcast starring two giggly girls gathering people from different generations to discuss some not so lighthearted topics. I'm in a very good mood today, Nivi.
Good.
Today's hello was in Czech. Czech. Okay, so guys, today's topic is very, very interesting.
Time to spill the tea.
Okay. Today's topic is the truth about gossip.
Ooh.
Quick disclaimer. We are not going to gossip in this episode. It's not going to be like us gossiping for like 20 minutes straight.
Yeah, you wish.
But we're going to discuss about gossiping without gossiping ourselves.
That's difficult.
It's okay. Why, Nivi? You have like tea to spill?
No.
Okay, anyways. So, before we start the conversation, let's introduce our lovely guest for today. Nivi, do you want to introduce our first guest?
Yes, so our first guest is our dear friend from Gen Z. Please welcome Sinchana Rai. Hello.
Our second guest is an awesome, entertaining RJ of Radio Mirchi. Please welcome Miss Megha Shirodkar.
Hi. Hello.
Alright, so guys, before we get started about talking about gossip, whether we think it's right or not, let me just give the exact definition of gossip, okay? So the definition of gossip, according to Merriam-Webster.com, is any talk or rumors involving the personal lives of other people. So an example would be a friend who passes on the secrets of other friends but tells you, oh, don't tell anyone. That's still gossiping. I kind of do that with Nivi at times.
Yeah, but anyways.
Moving on. Okay, so let's start by just let's break the ice. Everyone gossips. Okay, I would say like everyone in this world, or at least like 99% of people on this planet, are involved in some type of gossip, be it intentional or unintentional. Sometimes they may just be listening to the conversation and enjoying it, or like, I don't know. But that's like something that everyone does. It's like something that people have like a pastime.
Yeah, like those Indian aunties.
Yeah. So, another thing is, mostly people think women gossip, which I don't agree with, but apparently a recent study also proved that women spend 12% more of their time gossiping than men do. But men also gossip a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, but anyways, back to the topic. So I feel like everyone knows that gossip is toxic, it's not good, and a lot of people know it. But still, they enjoy doing it. So for segment 1, we just wanna talk about the main question: why do people like gossiping? And that kind of is directed to us also.
Yeah, do you guys gossip though?
Do you guys think I gossip a lot?
You gossip
think-
a lot? What?
I think we all gossip a lot.
Yeah. We're all guilty, so.
Yeah, it's something that you can't really, you can't tell that you're not doing it because you're always doing it. It's just it's
Correct.
it's like those kind of habits that you don't even know when you pick up. It's
Ex-
like, do we really
Exactly.
gossip? But ultimately we always want to feel like we don't gossip. They gossip about us. We just talk
they
about
gossip
them.
about us. Yeah.
Exactly.
So everybody
Yeah,
feels that
that's
we're
so
just
correct.
talking. We're not meaning any harm. We're not saying anything about them that's not true. Even though we don't know what sources we have exactly. So I think we all want to be a little righteous that way. We like to believe that people gossip about us, but we don't gossip about them. But ultimately, I think it's also because we're such social animals. This need to thrive on other people's information. It's like we want to be in a big boss house. We want to know
Yeah.
what's happening in other
Yes.
people's lives. We want to be the peeping toms. But we
That's
just don't want to
very
say it because
correct.
it's not cool, right? It's not cool to be like lurking into
Exactly,
people's balconies
yeah.
and seeing what's happening in their houses.
Exactly.
But we want to know.
Exactly.
So
Why does it sound like every like Indian TV show?
it does, and I think it still stands true. I still I can just see that people are gossiping about me. Like when I come back home late, I can just see that my neighbor is saying, "Oh, she's late. Oh, she's with a guy. Oh, she's someone is dropping her. Oh, that's not good. Oh, she's not married. Oh, that's not good either."
Oh God.
I can just see it on their faces. I think it's also our it's our desire to be a part of other people's lives because we feel they're so happening, while ours are just not.
Exactly.
But
I feel
but
like
I don't know what Sinchana says.
yeah, I feel like people have this mentality where they want to believe that everyone gossips about them, but then they're like, okay, whoever gossips about me, they're behind my back. I'm way above them. But like, knowingly, unknowingly, you still do it. You're still part of that whole
Yeah,
true,
cycle. I feel like gossiping is just, it's not that you mean harm. I mean, yeah, most of the times you do, but it's just that it happens. It's like,
Sometimes you need that
Exactly.
rant. Sometimes you just need to rant about
It doesn't
something.
have to be like
Yeah.
malicious. Like it doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
You don't have to
Exactly.
target people. There's some things that you just want to know. Oh, this is what's happening.
exactly.
So,
I feel like,
Out of curiosity. It's just plain
Exactly.
curiosity. That's it.
Yeah.
and of course, gossip that ultimately gets you into trouble. Like if you gossip about your colleague to your boss, that's not cool. I feel that's not in the
Yeah.
right spirit. And if you're like trying to pitch someone behind someone else's back, trying to turn them against each other, that's
Yeah.
that's just not in the right spirit of
Very
gossip spirit. If there is any spirit of gossiping at all.
I've seen this a lot.
Yeah,
People
yeah.
use gossip to throw other people off track. Like, suppose in like academics and all, I've seen it a lot of times in my old school. They use gossip, and they go tell the teachers so that the student that's going in the right track just like falls off, and the teacher has this mindset of that student. And I feel like that is just not acceptable. That's something that's just really messed up.
That's very twisted. That's very
Yeah.
twisted. That's like an
That's
Indian
very
soap opera,
bad.
definitely.
Exactly.
Yes. Correct. The Bahu and Sasu. Sasu?
But I don't know
Sus.
where people, how do you really draw the line? It's invisible. So I think your own conscience should tell you that this is not right. If someone talks about me like this, I wouldn't like it. So I think there has to be some
Yeah.
radar, some antenna of yours that should go off that let's not say this about this person.
But sometimes that
Yeah,
like
correct.
that boundary it just doesn't, because you're like, you get so involved in it and you just want more and more and more of it. You don't know like what you're
You want
doing.
more tea.
Exactly.
It's addictive. It's actually practically an addiction.
Exactly.
You can't.
Yeah, which is why I feel like a big part of whether or not you are involved in a lot of gossip is because of the people around you. If they initiate the conversation, you can't help it.
Exactly.
You can't be like, okay, no, don't tell me.
Yeah.
We've all grown up listening to our mothers talking on the phone with their closest friends or their
Exactly.
Exactly.
What's happening with them? So we've grown up listening to gossip.
Exactly.
We've been part of the worst gossips ever. So I don't think not taking part was not an option for us, I feel. For every generation.
Sometimes for my mom, the gossip's about me. And it's like she's over there in the room, I'm in the hall, and I'm like, I can hear you. I can hear what you're saying.
That's true. Like kids are like the main hot topic. What is your kid studying? Oh, my kid is doing this.
God.
And it's amazing how gossip finds its roots in every setup of society, whether it's school, college, work, marriage, girlfriend, boyfriend. Like it's anywhere. There's just nowhere that it doesn't creep in. It's just always there.
It's always
Like
there.
you'll be gossiping with every person from every walk of life. You could be gossiping with the person you meet in the metro, or you meet in the bus, or you meet like a stranger. You would be gossiping. So it's amazing how it brings people together as well.
It does.
But I feel like we need to be smart with the people who you gossip with, because if you give information to the wrong person, right, you can get in trouble, that other person can get in trouble, and the whole situation can just be a big mess. So be smart with who you gossip to.
I feel
It's an art.
Don't just tell everyone.
like, because
Definitely.
That's when he's the trusted gossip partner.
Yeah.
I feel like because when people get something so exciting, they're like, oh, okay, this is probably gonna start drama. This is probably gonna spark something. They're like, okay, I have to tell it to everyone now. And some people, they can't control it. Some people, they can't keep a secret. So it's really hard to know which, like, who's the snake in the situation.
And I think friendships are the
Very
most
well.
tricky ones in gossip because friends are something that are so it's like you keep them so sacred to yourself that when you hear that they're gossiping about you, then it gets a little it's
Yeah.
hard.
Exactly. It's a whole chain reaction because you hear that, oh, she gossiped about me, and then you go and tell your best friend that, oh, I heard that she gossips about me, and then you both rant about them, then the conversation spreads, and it's a whole like
Cycle.
chain.
It
Yeah.
definitely affects relationships a lot because if the thing is true or not, like, oh, okay, this person has gossip, if it's true or not, you hear it, you do feel bad, like, oh, people are gossiping about me, and then you, like, have the whole mentality, and it just, like, ruins relationships. So
Yeah.
that's one
Also,
bad
I've
thing.
realized people always want to believe the juiciest. They don't ever want to verify anything. It's like they will believe whatever
Exactly.
you say, even if it is nasty. They'll be like, "This is the truth. I know it because she told me." It's like written in stone.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to go and ask the person that, "Listen, did you actually do that? Did you actually say that about me?" Nobody wants to do that. Which
I
is
feel
which is sad.
Exactly. Yeah.
I feel like because they don't want the other person to know that, oh, okay, that this person is
That
gossiping
the
about
third
you.
person was involved.
Yeah, this person was
Yeah.
involved and that person. And the thing
Yeah.
is, it's the whole verification thing is it's completely necessary, but I feel like no one wants to do it. And even during fights, you're like, okay, where did you hear that from? What's your source? Oh yeah, this friend told me. This friend told me this rumor and this and that.
Because that's a trusted source.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Come and ask me, bro. But I feel like a lot of people it's just out of boredom, okay? They're like, I'm bored, what do I do? Okay, let's gossip.
And
Do you want to meet for a cup of tea and gossip?
But I feel that somehow, at least that I have seen, men and guys gossip a lot more than I
Yeah,
do.
that's correct.
I feel
The
I can just
we have
feel
two perfect
they
examples in
do
our
it.
class.
I don't know about you guys, but I definitely feel they do it a lot more, and we are like given the bad name for it. But they do it
Yeah,
a
yeah,
lot more
correct.
than us.
That's like how we were talking in a that's like how we were talking in our girls supporting girls episode. It's just portrayed that girls gossip so much, but guys do it a lot more. It's just, I guess, a little secretive.
I mean,
don't know.
at first
They
I
do it in a
did.
sneaky way.
Yeah, I did believe that, oh yeah, girls do gossip. Maybe the guys are all like, they're like, oh, I can't do all that gossip and all, don't bring me into it. But then, things happened and a lot of events happened, and I'm like, okay, no, they definitely do gossip because I know for a fact that guys, they don't know how to keep things to themselves. They have to go tell everyone about it, all their friends. So now something happens with this person, they'll tell like everyone else. So they definitely do gossip. There's no chance of them not gossiping.
And I
Yeah,
think
it's
they
the first thing that
gossip
goes
a
on their
lot
like
more
boys
about the
group.
female gender. I mean, they are the half the reason why rumors spread about women in the first place.
Exactly. Something about the opposite gender and guys, talking about it. Everyone else is like, okay, I gotta hear this. What's
They have
up?
to pitch in, they have to contribute, and people will be like, yeah, he's right.
Yeah.
He must be right because he's a guy, he must be right. Like, she definitely doesn't seem like a good person, like a good girl if he said so. And that is something that's always puzzled me. I was like, who is he?
Exactly.
To be the authority of that.
I have a feeling that guys, they don't really gossip about the other guys that much because what I've seen is if they have a problem, they're brutally honest with them. Like, they don't know who they're hurting or what they're doing. They're brutally honest. But when it comes to girls, they don't want to tell them their mistake. They'll go tell someone else. So it's not like the, the toxic thing with the guys. It's toxic thing with another gender. And it's just
Yeah.
toxic, exactly.
I have a friend.
Yeah, because it
I have a
becomes
friend.
dishonest and it becomes everything gets clubbed into one, and then there's no going back from there.
Exactly. And then,
It's
like,
it's just disaster.
yeah, and then you just like don't know
Yeah.
who to trust anymore. Because right, like after hearing all this, I'm like, who should I trust then? Because I don't know if I tell someone like some guy something and they go around telling everyone, there's like I don't know who to trust. So that whole thing happens. It's very confusing.
Okay, so like you guys were saying, gossip can affect relationships and everything. So that brings us to the topic of segment 2, which is why actually gossip is toxic. I think this is very important to discuss. Why we all know gossip is toxic. Why in reality do we consider gossip to be toxic?
Toxic? I mean, gossip is toxic mostly because, like I said, it ruins relationships and I don't know, it just creates this whole toxic atmosphere and it creates this tension between friends and it just gives like unnecessary drama and like necessary confusion and tension and all that stuff between like, in relationships or anywhere.
I think it's also toxic because we don't know how authentic the information is ultimately, right? I mean, there's one person's version clubbed into another person's version with a lot of mirch masala added by the third person and another person. So it's like this big bhel puri of lots of people's versions ultimately reaching you and you are consuming it. And you become so addicted to it because it's so fun, it's tasty, it's juicy, it's something that brings excitement into your life, but it's so short lived, it's so temporary, it can be ruthless, it can be brutal to another person's personality, the way they are, what they actually might be like, because some people are not so outspoken, they might not be able to defend themselves. So that's where it hits below the belt. When you hit with gossip at people where they are not able to protect themselves or they don't have people to back them up. Like there are many people who would say that, any gossip is good gossip, any publicity is great publicity. So it's negative or positive. So they don't care. But ultimately there are people who get really, really internally affected by it, their self-esteem, their morale, their general, the way they view themselves, it changes because people are viewing them like this, some sort of, a person who's
Yeah,
yeah, I
their like
mean,
whole image just change.
yeah, it's something that you can't retract.
Yeah, their whole
It's like
reputation is
when you tweet
affected.
something or when you
Yeah.
put something out there on the internet today, you can't retract it. It's like it has a digital footprint. I think same way with gossip. Now we have the internet, but at one time the footprints of gossip were like very, very entrenched, and I still sort of believe some things that I was told about some people. Can you imagine, like after years and years of maybe broken friendships, estranged relationships, I still believe that he must have done that or she
Yeah,
must have, said that about me. So we want to believe the bad things about people. I don't know why. I think we are socially conditioned to believe that we are better and people are just not that great. They tend to, sort of not talk well about you. So it comes out of, I think, our own insecurities as well. We don't want to we want to believe the worst in people, I feel sometimes. It makes us feel good
Yeah,
about
maybe.
ourselves.
Yeah, it can make exactly, yeah. And yeah, but honestly, gossip is just a waste of time because as much as we enjoy it, right? Like you could have been doing a lot of other things. There are a lot of other, if you want entertainment, there are a lot of other things that you can be doing for entertainment as well. And yet, like, a lot of us choose gossip and it's just a waste of time because imagine what
See,
else
like
you could
when
be
we
doing in
gossip about
those hours you
celebs, we
spend
don't think
just
that they are people, right? We
gossiping.
just gossip
But,
about them because we think like they're part of we deserve to gossip about them because they are what they are
yeah.
because of us. We make them celebrities, so we are like, oh, I do you know who he's dating? Do you know who she's dating? Or do you know what they're up to? What film they're doing? Why were they thrown out of that film? We want to know all that
Yeah,
mucky
that's
stuff.
correct. Oh
That's
my
so
god,
And we,
yeah.
at one point, I remember my mother had these, and my Marcies, they had these Stardust and these these magazines that or of the Gen Y and beyond, much before, which were only full of celebrity gossip. And it was like blind articles, blind items, and everybody was like, I heard from this one, then this one.
Wow.
And we used to lap them up like anything. We used to be like, we know what's happening in your life. And we liked it, you know. And now obviously those magazines, they don't have much of a say in your generation. Nobody reads those magazines, but there is other ways of spreading gossip. But like, I don't know about you guys, but you still want to see what celebrities are up to, what gossip, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
correct.
yeah.
That's actually. Mm-hmm. Wild. Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Mm.
I think
Yeah, that's
yeah,
fair.
it's a need to sort of, you need to satisfy
Familiar.
that need, and you want to pass judgments on them as well. Like, why would he do something like this, or why would he cheat on her? I mean, it's something that we don't even know about. Like, it's like there are neighbors, but we don't know them. They're just on screen. Similarly, I think we are so ruthless with our own friends, etc., that, why would she do this? Why would she be going out with this person? Or I mean, it's something so personal, and if that person is not ready to, like, ultimately, we give our friends our opinion, but they do what they want to do, right? But we are so quick to not give benefit of doubts to anyone. I think we are like, when it comes to us, like when it comes to me, I'd be like, they should at least confirm, or they should at least think that I'm not
Correct.
that kind of a person. But when it comes to the other person, you're like, must be, we don't know. I mean, could be. I don't know her well enough, so probably true, maybe. But
Yeah,
yeah, I
yeah.
think
Probably
we
true.
especially, I think
Yeah.
friendship gossip, workplace gossip is
Mm-hmm.
extremely toxic. It is detrimental to a sense that it can ruin people's careers, it can ruin people's
Yeah.
Yeah.
just general what they feel about themselves, friendships, etc. Of course, they get ruined, but workplace and even in families, I feel when your own family gossips about you, that's very hurtful. It's toxic in many ways.
Yeah.
Yeah. It depends on what they're
Go
gossiping
ahead.
about. Yeah, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Like
Go ahead.
friends, you can't really control their actions, what they're gossiping about. You can't be like, oh, don't gossip. They're not gonna listen to you. They're obviously gonna do it. But when it comes to family, you're like, okay, at least here, it's like a safe place. I know that no one's gonna judge me. No one's gonna spread any, rumors and stuff like that. So it's really, hard knowing that.
They do, yeah, yeah, because you kind of like trust your family the most, and if you come to know, then that's just
Bad.
saddening. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we were talking about how everyone's so addicted to gossip, and it can be a form of entertainment. When we were like reading about stuff, yeah, there was a whole article about why gossiping is good. So, there are some benefits of gossip too, and it's weird, but there are benefits of gossiping, and the most obvious one, which, as you mentioned, it's like we feel better about ourselves once we gossip about others.
Mm.
Do you guys think there are any other benefits of gossip?
Sometimes I think gossip is also just rants, like you were saying in the beginning,
Mm.
Ruhi, that they just rants, they just vents. We don't like certain people, so we want to gossip about them. They haven't treated us well, so we want to gossip about them because it's our only way of letting out that steam. That this person didn't treat me right, this person was so rude to me, they were so they didn't give me my due, so let me just gossip about them and take it out of my system. So sometimes I think it's also cathartic, it's therapeutic, because there are ways that
Yeah, it
you
makes
can't
sense.
always go and tell that person those things to their face. I mean, that would be kind of mean. So you just do it with your friends, you do it with your family, you tell them that, oh, but ultimately it's just when you it shouldn't be of a malicious nature, it shouldn't be vicious, it shouldn't be,
Yeah.
it should just be, you just say it and leave it, let it go. It shouldn't be like you're reiterating it to 500 more people, you're putting it out on the net, you're putting it out on for posterity, for people to remember that person like that only. That's bad. Just
Yeah.
so benefits I think would be that it sort of obviously makes you feel good about yourself. It also somewhere helps you get over other people's hurt that they have caused you. Sometimes just gossiping about an old ex, it's so therapeutic with your best friend,
Yeah.
isn't it? I mean, you're just like, you don't mean you're not talking to them. There's no contact, but you just want to gossip about your ex, right? So you're not meaning any harm. It's just your own heart letting go that this person is just.
I mean, like people in their right mind, they wouldn't like, oh, I'm gonna get revenge, and they're gonna do something personal to them, because no one wants that. No one. So just like going to someone that you trust and just trashing that other person, it just feels really good knowing that, okay, you know, I'm not gonna keep quiet anymore. I had opinions on this person and they hurt me. So like I'm gonna tell someone my opinions. I'm not gonna keep it to myself anymore. And then it just feels so good. But there is sometimes it gets like, it's really bad. And for me, like once there was this really stupid gossip, and I hope that everyone just would have forgotten it the next day, but then it just carried on and carried on. So that burden of how people look at you, because it just sticks with you, and people just assume, oh, this is her whole personality, this one lie about her is her whole personality, that's it, nothing else. I'm not even gonna try getting to know who she is. So that just it
It's
sucks.
unfair. Yeah, it's definitely unfair. But benefits, like I said, would be the same, that letting your feelings out, like how we do it with a therapist. It's therapy. I think it just
Yeah.
makes you a better person. You let out all the negativity, and I also feel it helps you make friends. Like when you go to a new class, a new a workplace, a new family, or a new any new environment, it helps you break the ice. For me, sometimes, like when someone tells me, oh, do
Maybe.
you know that this person also used to be this, or also used to do this, and they've always been whatever. It could be very silly stuff, that they've been a prankster, or they've done this to me. So I just know that they're telling me something personal of their own experience, and it can be termed as gossiping by many, that, oh, aate hi tum log ne, you've started gossiping. But it made me break the ice with that person, na? It made me friends with you, or friends with a third
Yeah,
person.
I
So it
mean, when
can bring
I
two people
joined the
together as well.
school, that's all. Like,
Yeah.
when I starting off with all like making friends, it was all gossip. Everyone from here and there, it was all gossip, and I was like, okay, I'm listening, I'm listening. So yeah, it does help you break the ice.
Yeah, you came into the all girls class.
Yeah,
And you're just a listener, right? You're just a passive listener, and you're
exactly.
people are just giving it all to you. And
Yeah,
you
I
should
mean,
Hey, not gonna be like,
even if
no,
we do
don't tell
go,
me.
go around
Yeah.
Just
telling
like our
everyone
class,
no, not
like
telling
with-
everyone, just like telling in general in model education. If anyone wants to gossip, just say no, I don't do all that. But you low-key kind of want it. You want it yourself. You want to hear it. Exactly.
yeah, you want to be up to speed to the new people, and you're like, this is the only way you can get
Exactly.
to
You may
know.
feel. Yeah, I feel like some people also like, even if they don't like want, like, okay, I want to gossip now. It's just like, okay, everyone is there. If you don't go and join the group, then you just feel left out, and you're just like, okay, they all are going to be like, you're okay, she's not cool.
That's true. I've felt that a lot, because that you really feel that, oh, so that means you don't want to talk about this. That means, okay, so you're completely put an outsider if you don't want to
Exactly, like,
indulge.
oh, that goody two shoes, of course, she
Yeah.
doesn't want to do
Like
this.
there are days where you don't want to talk ill or talk anything bad about anyone, right? Like, just you don't want to talk about anybody. You're just like, okay, each to their own. But then there are people who are just hell bent on talking about people all the
Exactly.
time. How do you?
Like sometimes you're like, okay, say I understand you don't really like the person, but I do. They were fine with me. You can't like expect me to change my opinion. You can't expect me to hate them. But then they're like, no, they're bad, they're this. And I feel like one big part about gossip is that everyone knows it's toxic, but then we all have a fear of missing out. We're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, FOMO.
Yeah, so I feel like in conclusion, gossip can be good for us at times, but we need to know where to like draw the line, and it's really up to us whether we're going to use it for like a good thing or just for spiteful reasons.
Okay, so for this segment, we found like a very interesting quote which says that psychologists say that gossiping is a social skill. So, do you guys agree with that or not?
That gossiping is a social skill.
It is. I mean, it does, bring friends together. It does like spark conversations. So, yeah, maybe.
I feel like it is a social skill, but it's not a skill that we should like want to master.
Yeah, I think it's also everybody's degree of this skill varies so much. It's so vast. Nobody gossips the same way, I feel. Everybody has a very distinct style of way of telling things, of way of narrating stories or a particular piece of gossip. So I feel like there are some people like you would want to hear them tell the story. Like I have friends who would make it so interesting and make that entire one liner, just make a whole story out of it and just weave it so beautifully, and you'd be like, wow, this is so much fun, and you'd be like laughing and just enjoying. And so there's some people who really really are good at it, and there's some, it's also the way you tell gossip, right? It's not just it's not like the headlines or the news that you just say it like a news anchor. You have to create a background, you have to like create the intrigue. It's almost like a mini short story that you like tell to your friends. So they just know, they like, in our friend circle there's always one storyteller who will be like, you have to hear this from this one, because like he or she will say it like it really is so amazing and juicy. And there'll be like one person will be like, oh, so this happened, so, and she was doing that and he was doing, so you'll be like, oh god, you just killed it. So yeah, it definitely is a skill. Yeah, it's a skill, and it's a very social skill. It also depends on your personality, how introvert, how extrovert you are, how much you express, how much you like talking about people or just talking in general. Because I've seen sometimes even the most trivial and petty gossips can be made so much fun that you're just enjoying nothing. It's just stupidity that you are just laughing and just thinking that you've got to know some very great detail about this person, but it actually means nothing. So it's definitely a social skill, and yeah, mastering it is, I don't know how far we will be able to master it, but it's a distinct thing.
I don't think
it's from person to person.
Yeah.
I feel.
Yeah, I feel like I don't think people like develop gossip, to be honest. Like if they have the skill, it's just there with them.
They're born with it.
Oh, yeah, sure. Okay, so we asked.
I think nobody can beat our mothers telling gossip.
I feel
I
like
think they're the
most,
ultimate.
yeah, this may be a stereotype,
Moms.
but a lot of it, like I say, most Indian mothers and stuff are like awesome at gossiping.
They're the ultimate. You need to look up to them to realize how gossip is told and how it's extracted from the other person, and then how it's told to.
If you like tell a
Yeah.
story about one person, their whole story, there's like a whole backstory and this and that, the whole plot and the whole change and like in
Rising
that one
action.
whole story, there are like different gossips from different person.
That's why their
And
phone
how they
calls are
get
like
that
2 hours.
out of people, I don't know.
Yeah. But truth being
Yeah,
told,
you were saying
no,
something.
truth being told, my mom doesn't like her gossip actually. She has a lot, all her friends gossip, but she's just like, she doesn't like it actually. Very odd, but yeah, it's there. But okay, anyways.
I think after a point they stop enjoying it also because they know that even somehow their children also might be part of their gossips. So I think they kind of take a back seat. They're like, we've done enough in you know in the years, so we'll just now be little zen and not. We don't care what anybody else is doing. We just want to.
I mean, I have met a lot of people, they don't really enjoy gossip. They're like, okay, I'm gonna stay back, I'm not gonna say anything. But I feel like secretly, even though that they don't show it, even though they like show that they're uninterested in stuff, I feel like secretly, just in the back audience, they're like, wow,
That's me. I think the ones who look down upon gossip are the ones who want to gossip the most. The ones who look down upon it, that this is why you always
Exactly.
gossiping, this is just such a waste of time. They really want to do it, but they I don't think they have the skill yet. They just want to be a part of it.
Those are the kind of people that like they do the whole thing where they drag the story and you're like, okay, that's it. By the end of it, you're just like, okay, I don't want to listen to it. They just
So I think
drag
definitely
the
then
whole
I think
thing.
it's a skill, because if you drag a particular piece of gossip, it just loses its essence altogether.
It loses its charm.
It loses its charm. Yeah.
Okay, but we
Exactly.
asked our Instagram followers the same thing, whether they agree or disagree, and we're gonna take two of their responses. Nividi, you wanna read the first one?
Okay, so the first person said, agree, because not everyone has the power and courage to go up to a stranger and start a conversation about someone else, be it gossip.
Or not gossip? Yeah, I think I agree with that, because that again relates to what Miss Megha said about being an introvert or extrovert. Like, a lot of people won't have the courage to do that, so it's kind of like a communication skill.
Value add.
Who do gossip about someone else? Obviously, they have no courage to go and tell it,
Or to their
to the
face.
person's
To the
face.
person.
Yeah, that's correct.
That's
But
why
I
they
mean, it's mostly it's not like, confidence and all that stuff. No one would want that, because you don't want that whole conflict, the whole fight. You just want to avoid that. You want to take the simple way out, simple way of, just like trashing them.
Yeah, correct.
But Sinjana, sometimes I also feel that some gossips that we know they're true. Like, for example, I've seen, or I've seen that person saying that, or I've heard that person like real time, and I know that my information is correct. So even if I go and confront that person, I know they'll never admit to it.
Yeah, correct.
So there's that other side of it.
That's so correct.
That even if I go and try and like they'll never say that I did this, or because I saw you, but it's your word against mine. So ultimately
Yeah,
it won't get
that's
us
very
anywhere.
correct.
So I know of people who I will go and ask, so this is what's happening, right? And they'll just lie to my face. So it is a skill. You know how to combat gossip. You know how to retract and say that nothing like that is happening. So you could just be the fool in front of 5 people.
It still remains the same. If you go confront someone who gossiped about you, they'll be like, no, I didn't do it. Either they just like shut it down completely, or they'll be like, oh, no, that person did it. I just heard it. And they like, the whole blame just continues.
Yeah.
This reminds me of a story which I'm not gonna say. But,
I think we're thinking of the same thing.
but okay, anyways, the second response was being a good gossiper is a skill, because not everyone can be trusted with information and use information in a responsible way. This was something which was very confusing for me to understand first, but then I understood. It's correct. I think it's correct.
We did like talk about this. Like, some people, they just they don't know how to handle all
Yeah.
that stuff. Sometimes you get so excited, you're like, oh wow, such nice gossip, I gotta tell everyone, and then it just like goes and goes and goes on. So you don't, like, even though you don't want to ruin someone's image, you're like, oh wait, it's already done now. So like the damage is done.
Yeah. So I think the whole thing about being trusted is again with whether or not a person knows about who to share gossip with. Okay, so guys, anyways, I think that brings us to an end of this episode. Very sad to be ending it because I thoroughly enjoyed,
Same.
and we did manage to speak
Gossip.
up. No,
Oh, sorry, not gossip.
Not gossip. We spoke about gossip without gossiping. So
Yes.
achievements.
Mhm.
But anyways, a big thank you to both of our guests. You guys were so fun to talk to.
Mm-hmm. If you like this episode, please like it, share it,
Please like it, yeah.
and yeah,
Yeah, please
Follow
follow us
us.
on YouTube, Spotify, Instagram to be notified every time we upload every Saturday at 4 p.m. That is. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Until then,
bye. Stay safe.
stay safe
Mhm.
and bye.